part 17 of the Blender character modeling tutorial. We're going to keep building the base mesh. We're going to add, we're just going to jump right into it, okay? You guys know the drill, and you know how we do. So we're going to add some more geometry to our base mesh. One thing I want to do is I want to square this little divot up. I want the core to be flat and the hip area to be flat before we mess with it at all. So I'm going to jump into wireframe mode up here, and then I'm going to very carefully select those vertices and then come down here and select these as well. And I think these are the two that I want, and I can double check that by going there and there. You know what? I think I want this one down here as well. And let's see where this one is. Yeah, I'm gonna select, shift select that. Oh, I realize I don't have screencast keys, huh? I do now. Okay, let's kick into side view. And then let's just click up here. You can obviously you can hit G if you want to. Or you can hit the move key yourself. And let's just bring these out to make them flush. Okay. I mean, if it's perfect, great. If it's not perfect, okay. See, this is a little too far out here, so let's bring this back. G on the y-axis like that, and that's lined up. And then what do we got here? Let's grab this like that. On the side view, G to grab on the y-axis. Move that up like that, and then we'll come down to the base, and that actually looks pretty good right there. Oh, no, excuse me, no it doesn't. Kick into 3, G to move along the y-axis, and there you go. Okay, so that we will definitely add loads of form later, but in the early going, it's you kind of want this to be flush. Okay, so let's do the same here and here, and then go here, and then let's grab to move along the y-axis and just pull that out like that, and then this, I'll move this back like that. Let me bring that down a little bit like that. Okay. At least for the time being. All of this is going to change. Again, what this is a base mesh. It's really just designed to supply the basic form of our model and really just make sure that the geometry we start out with is the right geometry to move in a three-dimensional space without doing anything wonky. And what I mean by that is that you can, do your own Google and YouTube searches for bad geometry in 3D animation, and you're going to come up with, it'll look like a rigged form walking, and then all of a sudden it'll look like his elbow's coming out his belly, or this face, inverts and shoots out the back of his arm as you walk, or her arm, or their arm, or whatever, right? This is why you really want to make sure that geometry up front is taken into account. And again, we're going super slow, and that's totally fine too. If you need to go faster, the tutorial that does the best job of creating efficient geometry for a base mesh is definitely Dicko's tutorial. We're using that to start this base mesh. We're going to get back to the Ni Kwong tutorial when it comes to forming our model, because Ni just does a stand-up job, stellar job, spectacular job, and other superlative S words when it comes to modeling in the anime style. So we're definitely going to get back to Ni's work, but right now we are very much influenced and inspired by Dicko, because again, the geometry is just really super technical, but well done and designed to move correctly and efficiently in three-dimensional space. So what we're going to do quickly before we continue to dive in is just add just a few more edge loops. And you know how we do that with Control R. So let's go Control R here. We don't want vertical, we want horizontal, just like that. And we'll add a little more geometry around that shoulder area. And then let's add 2, Control R right here. And we have 1 right here. But remember, to get another one, you just roll that middle mouse wheel up. And now we got 2, okay? So now we got 2 edge loops around the torso area. And then let's add 1. I'm just gonna hit 1 to go into front view. And we're gonna add another edge loop, Control R, around the hips. Like that, okay? Not bad. And now you can kind of see where we're going. We're going to start pulling this in, on, and around. Okay? So I'm going to shift middle mouse button, and remember, that moves my view. It doesn't move, it looks like it moves the model in space, but it just moves my view. We're going to add another center line with Control R, and now we do want that vertical center line. And again, because if you move, remember, what do? We just hit escape, okay? And again, taking geometry into account, this is really kind of important because it goes all the way around. And it goes all the way around because we've been, kind of heads up with our geometry the whole time. I'm gonna bring that out a little bit. That is a little sharp in the back. It's a little sharp in the back. Okay. This is a little sharp right now, so you know what we're going to do. Are you all ready for this? You're going to be okay. Okay? We've been in the 3D modeling interface the whole time, right? And we talked about this at the very beginning. This is kind of the first interface that you're going to learn as a 3D generalist, right? If you want to sculpt, you can sculpt, and there's a whole interface up here for sculpting. If you want to just do 2D animation, a 3D world, you can click animation or create, just start with Blender Grease Pencil. If you want to do AR, there's a whole interface for that. If you want to do video editing, there's a whole video sequence editor that's amazing. But this is the first interface that we're going to mess with, and we have been messing with and getting comfortable with, right? Like our tools and our properties and our layers and our timeline down here in our 3D viewport, okay? And now we're going to sculpt a little bit, okay? Don't be afraid. You can do this, all right? And we're just going to smooth out our model a little bit, kind of spread out the distribution of the faces. See how they're still kind of super mechanical? And watch what happens when we sculpt over them, okay? So let's jump over into sculpting and see what happens. So we're in the layout, okay? 3D layout, this is your basic template. Just in case you mess up, let's save our work, Control S. So you can always come back to this spot. If you mess it up, don't worry. As long as you got to here, you'll be okay. You can mess up whatever you need to mess up, and you'll be fine. So we're gonna click on sculpting, boom, okay? Look at that, we got a whole new environment, okay? Whole new environment. I'm gonna zoom in right here, right? And if you want the floor, like see how this is kind of an invisible space, but if you want that floor that we had before, just activate it, okay? And now it kind of looks like the area that we were in before, okay? So here's all of our different sculpting brushes, and there's a load of them, right? So if this is your first look at the sculpting interface, it's kind of similar to the 3D layout, right? We got our properties over here. We can still mess around with properties, great. We got instead of our tools over here, we have our sculpting brushes, and there's a bunch of them, and we're not going over all of them in this. A great tutorial in this one is Julian Kaspar's sculpting intro video. He's a great 3D sculptor, great 3D artist, and does a lot of work for the Blender Institute. And literally teaches the class on how to use this interface. So we're going to start with this brush right here. See it? Smooth, okay? Click on this brush right here. See, there's blues. All the blues kind of do the same thing differently. See how there's reds? All the reds kind of do the same thing, but a little bit differently. And see how there's yellows? All the yellows do kind of the same thing, but a little bit differently. So we're going to click on red. Not just red, but smooth. So click on smooth, okay? And now, see, we kind of got a small brush. Okay. Right now, we have 0.7. That's pretty strong. We want to bring this down to about 0.2. Okay? And the difference between, the difference in strength, you can obviously try it out. It's like, when you have a marker and pushing a lot of pressure to get a really strong line would be like 1, and putting barely any pressure on the marker to get a very, very soft line would be like 0.1. Okay? So play around with it. I'm going to do 0.2. And if you want to do 0.1, 0.2, 0.25, 0.8, it's up to you. Okay? I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. And you do that with F. All I did was hit F right there, and the size of my brush grew. Now that's obviously too big, which is crazy. But right here, okay? I'm going to call that okay. Now, if I just start tapping the body, it starts to smooth out a little bit. See it? Make this a little bit bigger, F, and also a little bit stronger. Let's go up a little bit like there. Okay. That might be a little too strong. Okay, bring it back to 0.21, that's fine. And then that radius, maybe bring it down to 100 like that. Okay. And all we're doing is smoothing down. And you can already see it's a little bit more organic than it was. Whereas before, when it was total geometry. Okay, so that was, do you see what I just did right there? I held the button and dragged it, and it dragged it all the way across. As opposed to just clicking. Okay, so now let's make this a little smaller with F. And just keep going a little bit more. Okay. And just all we're doing is we're smoothing out the body. Okay, because we're going to do some things with volume. And it's going to be good to have distributed faces. Okay, if you want to see that in one, that's what that looks like. And it's come in a little bit there. That's okay. We'll pull that out. And then on the side, okay, you can see this can come in too. And also, I'm not touching the arms. Have you noticed that? Just doing the torso. The arm is its own beast. We will get to that. When we get to that, and what's cool about the mirror modifier is that everything you do to the left side happens on the right side as well. Okay? Okay, do you see how this already looks smoother than what we were working with moments ago? Okay, and if it's jagged, just smooth it out. So let's go back into the 3D mode. Okay, the 3D mode, the 3D layout, or a regular layout here. We're in object mode. Let's tab into edit mode. And it really doesn't matter what you have selected here. The neck, I wanted to make a little bit smoother. See how the neck is still kind of jagged up here? We just don't have the required geometry that we need. So let's add a couple more edge loops with Control R right there. Escape out of that. And then another one down here with Control R right there. Escape out of that. And now we got some good neck geometry. Let's kick back into sculpting and come in here and get the neck. And just smooth that up a little bit. See? Just smooth that. Here we go. Nice smooth neck right there. So we're in sculpting mode. Let's go into 3D layout. Tab out of object mode. These came back, so let's bring these out a little bit. Here, right here's one. Let's go to wireframe mode. Grab this one right there. Come here. Go like that. Let's see where this is. Here we go. Bring this, grab this out on the Y. Okay. Okay. Then let's bring this in on the Y. Okay. Let's kick over in the front view. And let's see how this looks in object mode. Okay, not bad. Still some work, but a little bit, but just considerably more organic than it was. All right, still a ways to go, but getting there. Okay, let's build out the legs. So we're here, and then in sculpting, we kind of sculpted everything up, right? But we need to bring out this crotch. So let's have face select. Select 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to go into front view. And then let's just extrude along the Z-axis. Okay. Like that. And then like that. Okay. Going to 3, and now we're starting to establish a crotch line. Okay. Okay, and we can pull this up as well. Okay, let's see. Now, let's select all of these. Let's select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. And then let's just extrude. Okay, cool. Now this is kind of gnarly a little bit, and that's fine. Let's rotate. Okay, so we still have up here the we have to transform the pivot point. Our pivot point was still on 3D cursor. We need to make it back to active element, which is down here. So now when we hit R, this happens, okay? We want to do that and kind of bring that over. This is still a little jagged, so maybe we pull it here, and then we're going to use this one. This is the smooth tool. Okay, when we click this, if you just pull this, it kind of See, it just kind of smooths everything out. I mean, if you go too far, it obviously goes too far, so don't go too far. Bring it in like that, and then look at that. Bazinga, right? That's kind of smooth. Well done, man. Okay, so let's go here. And then we can bring this up. Like that. And then these hip line 2. Let's bring these up like that. And then let's see if we can do the exact same thing with this line. Let's do Shift Alt click to get the, oh, it doesn't select everything. So let's go here, here, and select the whole edge loop. Okay, and see if this works again. It might work, might not work. Look at you. Jagged, smooth. Nicely done, team. Look at you. Okay, let's even scale this out. There we go. That's what we wanted. So if you hit S and you can scale it out and you can get that pop in that hip. So I'm going to escape out of this, go to front view so I can see it. And now when we scale out, look, we can just pop the hip like that. Great. Okay. Outstanding. So the hip's starting to pop. Now, let's bring out that leg. So we're going to select faces. And then we got the select box. And then let's select these 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm going to kick back into front view with numpad 1. Scroll back a little bit and then extrude. And there you go. There's my leg. So now let's G grab, bring it in, bring it down, and then rotate it like that. And then look at that. Here you go. Okay, so there's a leg down to the knee. Now, this is still pretty wild. Okay, but remember we have these tools up here. Where we go, edit, loop tools. Let's make this circular. Watch what happens when we circularize this. Keep your eye here and click circle. Look at that. Nice little circle geometry. Easy as that. Let's scale this in with S. And now we've scaled it. With G, we bring this over like so, and it's about at the knee. Great. Let's kick in a side view, see how we're doing. Hey, we need to line this up. So let's grab it with G, move it along on the Y-axis, and then at this kneecap here, we want to rotate it like that a little bit, and then even bring it up like that. Okay? And it's a little, obviously it's a little too narrow. That's okay. We will bring out some form and fullness to this quadricep, shortly. But for the time being, let's keep building out the knee line. Okay, we have this selected. All right, let's kick into front view and let's extrude again. And if you're on this angle and you can't move, that's okay. You can just let go and then grab it with G. And we want to get the top of this, you know, it's really the bottom of the knee and the top of the calf. So we can scale this out like that. All about there. Okay, kicking a side view. Holy moly, let's bring this up like that. Okay. And then let's save our work with Control S. Okay, you're doing great. You guys are doing so good. Man, y'all doing so good. And I hope you're enjoying yourself, and I hope you're having fun, and I hope you're learning, you know, I hope you're learning Blender. It's like, yeah, you're getting to make something cool, and you're learning how to model characters, but it's also about learning Blender and knowing Blender and knowing the interface and knowing the software. And I hope I'm doing a decent enough job of articulating that, you know, so you can eventually you can come in here without me in your head narrating the workspace, and you can just go to work. Okay? Anyway, thanks for spending time with us, and let's keep going. So I'm going to extrude another time and bring it down right to the ankle. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to need to scale this in with S. You all know how to scale by now. This is old hat to you. Okay, and right about there. And let's kick over into side view with numpad 3. Still way off. Let me grab it with G, move it along the y-axis, and bring that right up. Okay, let's scale out a little bit. And kick into 1. Okay. Maybe scale in the y-axis. Ooh, that could be good right there. Okay, and then kick into 1. Yeah. That can work, you guys. That can work. Okay, that's to the ankle, and then let's add the ankle like that. Scale out the ankle like that. Kick that in the side view like that. Maybe one more. Maybe bring this up a little bit. Just because the ankle's a joint, and it bends in some weird areas. Let's rotate that a little bit like that. Kick that in the side view and bring this in, rotated, and scaled on the y-axis like that. And then I'm not sold on this line here, so let's go edge select, and then alt select, scale this on the y-axis to bring this in like that, and maybe rotate it like that. And here's our ankle. And how are we doing on time? You know what? I think we can stop there, and we'll start with the foot in the next episode. Okay? Maybe, you know what? I feel like this needs to be pulled up. Yep, I do. So I'm going to pull this up with G. Here, let's do face select. I'm going to face select these faces. Kick over there and bring this up a little bit. Like that. Come over here. Bring this here. Maybe rotate it. This foot's a little small in side view. It looks a little longer in front view. It's just another sketch issue that, well, we're working around. Okay. I'm going to call that there. And that looks okay. And in the next video, we will build out the foot and keep going with our base mesh. So you're doing good, doing great. And keep going. And I'll see you in the next one.